Today, I'm covering the 5 things I don't want you to do during sex because you or somebody else could get sick or hurt or injured. These are all real things, so stay tuned. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Dr. Jennifer Lincoln, board certified OBGYN, author, educator, podcaster, and welcome to my channel, which is basically the health class you wish you had in high school. Before I jump into this week's topic, which is an important one, go ahead and subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Okay, I promised 5 things that I do not want you to do during sex. And these are important. They may sound a little like, really, Jen, who does these? But yeah, so let's just jump right in. Okay, the first thing. Don't go from back to front. And if you need me to spell out what I'm talking about here, what I'm saying is don't have anal sex and then move to vaginal sex without doing some things in between to decrease their chance of infection. So I have a whole video on anal sex, how to do it more safely. Is it bad for you? You can watch that up here. But here's the quick takeaway is that, yeah, if you engage in anal sex, there is a chance that you could transfer bacteria from the intestines into the vagina. And I'm not just talking about STIs like gonorrhea and chlamydia. I'm talking about bacteria that live in our intestines that can make us sick, like E. coli or salmonella, those sorts of things. So if you go from back to front and you don't either change the condom and or do a little washing on the penis, then you could potentially move those bacteria into the vagina and they can get into your bloodstream through little tears or little cuts and you can get sick. And I'm not just talking about vaginal infections, that kind of sick, but I'm talking about in the bloodstream could make you really sick. So if you're doing this and you are going from back to front, go ahead and change that condom. Yes, you absolutely have to. And even if you are using protection, I still recommend having a wipe handy so that you can wipe at the base of the penis and the scrotum because those bacteria, they can get there and they can transfer onto the vulva and into the vagina. Does it sound hot or sexy when I'm talking about this? No, but just keep some baby wipes nearby or, something like that because safe sex is not one that involves giving yourself E. coli. Okay, the second thing I don't want you to do during sex is if you have cold sores around your mouth, I don't want you engaging in oral sex. Now, if you don't know what the cold sores are, these little what we call fever blisters around your mouth, they're actually caused by the herpes virus. And there's 2 strains of herpes viruses that I want to talk about that most people know about. Herpes type 1 and herpes type 2. You might hear us refer to them as HSV1 and HSV2. Most people, when we talk about genital herpes, are thinking that it's related to HSV type 2. And that's true. That's the majority of cases of genital herpes. Here's the thing. HSV1, which is the strain that's usually responsible for the fever blisters around your mouth, can absolutely be transmitted to the genitals through oral sex. So if you are somebody who has oral herpes, and guess what? There is no shame in that. About 50% of Americans do. And a lot of us don't even know we have it because we never actually break out. But if you do know you have it and you feel some tingling, like some blisters are about to pop out, or you actively have them, do not go down on your partner. If you do, go ahead and use protection like a condom or a dental dam. But there's no shame in having herpes. About 18.5 Americans are infected with the HSV2 virus, which commonly causes genital herpes, and about 1 in 9 people ages 14 to 49 have HSV2. And we know that a whole lot more have HSV1, but just may not know it or haven't been tested for it. And there's I could go into a whole lot about herpes testing, why we do it, why we don't do it. If you want me to cover that in a video, let me know in the comment section. Okay, the third thing I don't want you to do during sex is to not stop if it hurts. And I'm not talking about good hurting, and having a little bit of fun. And I think you all know what I mean with that. But I'm talking about if it genuinely hurts, you gotta stop. And this is with any kind of sex, especially anal sex, but truly any kind. Because if your body is in pain and you are gritting your teeth through the pain because you think that's what your partner wants, you are at risk for injury, especially with anal sex, but with any kind. If something hurts, just stop. And if you can't tell your partner to stop or they don't respect you, that is a huge red flag that maybe you shouldn't even be having sex with them. I have seen injuries from sex. They are not pleasant and you do not deserve to be treated that way. So if it hurts, just say, hey, we got to switch something up here. Okay, the fourth thing I don't want you doing during sex, and you might be like, wow, Dr. Jen, you're such a downer. I don't want you having sex in a hot tub. Hot tubs are awesome, but not for penetrative sex. And here's why. They put you at an increased risk for infection. I think we can all agree that hot tubs are awesome. They also have a lot of chemicals in them. And so if you're having Penis in vagina sex, there's a chance that all those chemicals can be pushed into the vagina, can disrupt your pH, and make you more prone to irritation and infection, not just of the vagina, but also of the bladder and the urethra. That's where the pee comes out. And if it's a hot tub that's not well maintained and, it's a hot stew of bacteria and you're having sex, like, ugh, it's just gross. The other thing too is that you might think, well, I love the idea of sex in a hot tub because there's water all around. And so if I struggle with vaginal dryness, this is a great way to be surrounded with water and lube. And it's actually not the case. Water is very drying. So water washes away your own natural lube and can actually make sex uncomfortable and feel more dry. So for all those reasons, it's not a great idea. Now, yes, you can do some things in the hot tub and have fun, but just know that you're slightly at an increased risk for infection. Yes, you can still get pregnant if you have penis and vagina sex in a hot tub, but in general, it's really not worth it. Okay. The final and fifth thing I don't want you to do during sex is to do anything while you're driving. Why, Dr. Jen? Because let's be real, when you are having a good time, if you're driving along on the road and then all of a sudden, let's say your partner is doing something to you and you climax, are you really going to be paying attention to the cars coming across the street, or maybe the kid that runs out and is chasing something and you slam on the brakes? It's really hard if your eyes are closed or you're in another place. So I'm not saying that you can't do something in a car. I'm just saying you shouldn't do it while it's moving. There's a high risk for injury. You can injure someone else, or let's say you've got your head in a position or you're doing something, for your partner with oral sex, and then you get in a car accident and you don't have your seatbelt on. I know I sound like an old lady, but I just don't want you to get hurt. You could do it in a car, pull over in a private space. There's public indecency laws. And, leave the motor running if that gets you going, but please don't be on the highway or driving somewhere. You could injure yourself, or worse, even someone else who's a completely innocent bystander. Okay, those are the 5 things I don't want you doing during sex. What are your thoughts about them? Go ahead and drop a comment in my comment section below. If you want to be featured on my podcast, the Let's Talk About Down There podcast, go ahead and call the Viva La Vulva voicemail that you see here, or send me a voice DM on my Instagram DM. Follow me on all my socials and Instagram and TikTok, and have good sex, friends, but just be safe out there, okay? All right, until next time, stay safe.